That is the Eucharist. And that's why the church is so full of joy today, because we not only have a ritual that we call Mass, but we actually have a whole way of life that you and I can live. And this brings me, my dear sisters and brothers, to the second level of the feast. Not only the universal church, but in particular to the parishioners of the Blessed Sacrament parish. What does this feast mean for you? In a special way, while it means that also for every Catholic all over the world, but in a very special way, what does this feast mean for you in this parish? Priests, religious, lay people, all of you who belong to this parish. This feast means an invitation for you to be, in a very special way, the body of Christ. My dear sisters and brothers, the body of Christ cannot be separated from the person of Christ. And that's what we are celebrating today. Love made manifest in the person of Jesus. And I think that is what the parish of the Blessed Sacrament is all about, is the manifestation of love in this area we call Queenstown and its vicinity. Whatever may be the boundaries of this parish, it is in this concrete area that every parishioner here must come to believe and accept that he and she is love, and that he and she is called by the very reception of Holy Communion, that is Jesus, to be loved like him. And therefore, my dear sisters and brothers, where do we find ourselves, parishioners? We find ourselves in families. The Christian family is a family of love. The Christian family is an experience of love. The Christian family is an expression of love. The Christian family is the medium through which love passes on to people around in the community and in the society. And that's why we parishioners of the Blessed Sacrament are so proud to be family, not just as a body of parishioners, but in our respective families, to be called into loving and being loved. From the family, this group of people we call parishioners of the Blessed Sacrament find themselves in different other places. For example, at work. What do we do at work? It's not just some labor. At work, we bring love into the office, into the workplace, into our responsibilities, into our commitments. We cannot dissociate ourselves from the things we do, because we are the body of Christ. And the body of Christ, Jesus, never dissociated himself from his actions. They were one. His actions flowed from who he was, and who he was made him act that way. And therefore, wherever he went, Jesus was always concerned about everyone around him. He was always concerned about living in honesty and truthfulness and justice. He was always concerned about the poor and about the rights of the neglected and the downtrodden. And Jesus was always there to reach out to people in every kind of need, because for Jesus, to work, to act, was flowing from the very nature of his being, and that is love. And the parishioners of the Blessed Sacrament are like that, because the parishioners of the Blessed Sacrament are the body and blood of Christ. So how can the parishioners of Blessed Sacrament behave in a way other than Christ? It just doesn't make sense, isn't it? When you think about it. And therefore, what was Jesus' mind as he came to minister in the world? Jesus knew that this way of living is not possible by individual selves. It's just not possible. Therefore, the first thing that Jesus did was to invite men and women into community. And the purpose of the community is to help one another to be the body of Christ. Why? Because the community is made up of members of the body. In one body, you have many parts here. You have your eyes, you have your nose, you have your hands, you have your legs, you have your toes, you have your fingers. All these are very important for the body. And so also in the parish, we are made up of many members. But the members got no meaning in themselves. What's the use of my little toe in itself? It's of no use. But it's got a lot of use within the whole body, isn't it? And that's where every parishioner comes into play in the parish of the Blessed Sacrament. We are all members of the one body of Christ. And that one body of Christ makes all of us, the parish, live that way we call Jesus. And so, my dear sisters and brothers, as I wish you a happy feast today, and as I wish you this kind of life, I also pray that every one of you will be resolved today to build yourselves in your respective families in such a way that you are somehow, as a family, Jesus in your family and around your family. And therefore, I pray, if you want to be Jesus, because that's why you receive him in Holy Communion, if you want to be one with him, you cannot ignore your fellow parishioners. Your fellow parishioners in your neighborhood groups, your fellow parishioners in the small Christian communities, your fellow parishioners in the community. You cannot ignore them because they are part of the body of Christ. And in the body of Christ, nobody ignores anybody else, isn't it? And that is the basis of our great endeavor to be a parish within a community, within a communion of communities. This is the endeavor of the parish for everyone to help each other to be like Jesus. people of love, people of concern, people of generosity, people of service, people of absolute selflessness, and people who are always ready to be totally self-giving. This is Jesus. This is the body of Christ. This, I hope and pray, is the parish of the Blessed Sacrament. Happy feast, my dear friends.